And we are live. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Traffic Tuesdays. And we're on traffic principle number 50 today. You know what that means, Michael?
We are almost done with the year and we're going to start back at one.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy, though? It's almost 2023. Like, what is up with that?
Why does it go faster and faster and faster every year? I have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah. But today we got a really exciting topic to talk about. We actually are going to be talking about, well, last week we talked about data organization, right?
Yeah.
And so, what is the point of organizing your data if you don't know how to read it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what we're going to be talking about is how to do that. So, the question that I know Michael gets asked all the time is,
How do I know if my campaign is working? Right? That everybody wants to know that, right? So we organize this data and now all this data is coming in and we need to understand what's important and what's not. um, and then
yeah,
basically how to look at it and how to read. How do we know if it's working or not? And the first thing I like to do is kind of like separate and help my clients understand what ads are supposed to do and what's the job of the website. And
yeah,
initially, yeah, right. So, like, initially, ads are supposed to find the right person and put the right message in front of them, hopefully at the right time. And if we do that correctly, they like it, they click on it, and then it takes them to the website. And from the website is meant to like build a deeper relationship, establish themselves as the hook story offer, that whole thing, right? Establish the relationship, and really let them know that the problem that they're having, that they came from the ad, correlates, they have the solution for that. So the ads are meant to drive the traffic and the clicks, and the website is really meant to convert. And I think we kind of go into that a little bit, like what is conversions? Either that's money, or that's sales, or that's opt-ins.
mm-hmm.
And on the next piece, when we talk about organizing data, like what does this all mean, right? So this is a screenshot from Google Data Studio, which we're going to go a little bit over that in a few minutes. But like, what's important here, and what do we need to know, and what don't we need to know? And when I think about this, there's like really three core principles to ad success, right? So it's like, one, we identify to ourselves, what is the objective? What is, what's important to us? What does success look like? And then the next piece is really understanding KPIs, right? These key performance indicators. Um, and then I say, let's let the data make the decisions rather than sometimes emotions. I know, even me, sometimes I'm like, oh, I like blue. And then like someone else is like, well, we like red. And the data shows it's actually yellow that converts the best, right? So I always make sure, let's try to take our emotions out of things and allow the data to make the decisions. How do you feel about that, Cheryl?
Yeah, that is amazing. I love the way that you just laid that out because really when you have these three things working for you, then you have a tool to know how to analyze the data. You have a tool to be able to make decisions to improve your ads, but you kind of have to have these three things, right? Like you can't read the data properly if you don't even know what success looks like, right? You have to know what the KPIs, the key performance indicators actually mean. And you have to know, we'll be getting into like how to diagnose that, but you have to understand what the different things mean and what they indicate. And it doesn't mean anything if you don't use the data to actually make your decisions, right? So I love that. Three
Yeah.
principles to ad success. And give us a hashtag live if you guys are watching live, or give us a hashtag three principles or something to let us know. Give us a hashtag replay if you're watching the replay. And
Replay.
yeah, let us know that you're watching.
All right, so let's talk about like what when the first principle is like identifying what success looks like, right? So we have these KPIs, and there's a lot of strategies out there. And sometimes if you're like new to running ads, you just need awareness, right? So maybe that's part of the objective or success. Like we just want to bring more awareness, or we're looking to build our audience, or we're looking to retarget. like what does that look like? So oftentimes it could be opt-ins or it could be booked appointments. Ultimately, everybody loves sales. And these goals are really based on the business's goals and objectives. So with that being said, let's understand some metrics and KPIs. So
Who here, real quick, Michael, who here knows what a KPI is? Give us a hashtag KPI in the chat if you know what a KPI is, because we're going to be going over exactly what the most important ones are in detail. But we just kind of want to know, do you guys follow these things? Do you guys know what these are? And do you use these when you're reading data in your ad campaigns? So give us a hashtag if you know what this is.
Yeah, I think the funny thing is when I first started, like my first marketing intern job, I should have known what a KPI was, right? But I felt like I got put on the spot. They're like, "What are the KPIs?" I was like, "KPIs? What's a KPI?" Well, it's a key performance indicator, right? It's a metric that says, "Hey, when we reach this metric, then we know that this is important." And those metrics can be what this list looks like, right? So whether that's impressions, whether that's clicks and click-through rates, cost per click, conversion rates, or even cost per conversions. Now, at the end of the day, all ad platforms or all ad campaigns should be optimizing for conversions, right? So how do we raise our conversion rates and how do we get the cheapest cost per conversion? And I think once you understand those metrics, then kind of working backwards allows you to kind of help optimize for the right things. And going off of that, like when we look at the 5 pieces, right? So I know if we're going for impressions and if our impressions are low, well, that means I might not be targeting the right people, or maybe the placement of the ad is incorrect. So low impressions, I look at targeting and placements. When I think of click-through rate, if the click-through rate isn't low, and one, I would first say like these metrics can be different in all industries, right? But there is an average out there that we kind of like abide by. But if the click-through rate is low, then I'm thinking, okay, so I'm sending the ad to the right people, so I'm getting the right impressions, but for some reason, maybe my message is off, right? So maybe the messaging doesn't correlate with the people that I'm targeting. So the things that I look at, it's either like, my hooks are off, or maybe I'm targeting the wrong people again, if my click-through rate is not correct. And then when I look at cost per click, again, if I have a lot of clicks, then my cost per clicks are going to be low. But if my cost per click is high, then it's definitely some type of hook or messaging issues happening there.
Inside your ad itself.
Yeah, these 3 are really for the ad itself. Now, when we think about conversion rates happen, like we said, on the website. And it could be anything. It could be an opt-in, it could be a sale. It's something that we're getting, like some type of data that allows us to say, okay, this person is interested in whatever the page is. And if the conversion rate is low, then I'm thinking, okay, well, if the impressions look good and the click-through rate looks good and our cost per clicks are down, it's not too high. The first thing I'll look at, does the ad, for what we're saying on the ad, correlate with the website? And if it doesn't correlate, then there's some type of messaging issue. Or if the conversion rates are low, then I look at the website itself, because sometimes, load time can be a factor. Maybe it doesn't have good user experience. The flow of it is not good. So I start optimizing really the page. And then when I think about cost per conversion, again, I think about, website, and maybe even on the cost per conversion, if they're high, maybe they haven't built up enough brand awareness inside of because they're maybe new. So that whole piece of we have to have so many different touches. And maybe the touches they're still new to these people. So my cost conversion, my conversion rate could be low, but my cost per conversion could be high. So those are some things that I look at when kind of diagnosing the ads and these metrics themselves.
That's awesome. So yeah, give us a hashtag metric if that was really awesome. And if you learned a lot from that, because really, if you understand these 5 different KPIs, then this is pretty much the foundation of how to diagnose data. Wouldn't you say, Michael? Like, this is pretty much the core. Like, there's other things that you can track in your data, but if you know these and you know what the benchmark is for you and the industry standard, if you just understand these, then you pretty much have a really good tool of knowing how to read your data and figure out what's working and what's not, right?
Yeah, absolutely. These are definitely kind of like the core. There are so many others out there, and it just ultimately we use data to help optimize. But I definitely
Mhm.
want to make sure like we're getting a lot of impressions, our click-through rate is working, and all the costs are as low as possible, giving us the highest results.
Yeah.
And on the last piece of it is like we showed that little snippet of Google Data Studio. And there are plenty of softwares out there. Google Data Studio is actually free and it allows you to import your data from Google Analytics. You can import things from Facebook, um, other platforms. Sometimes those connections to other platforms need kind of like a connection software, sometimes like Supermetrics. But this is a good way to visually look at it so that all your data, because all your data could be everywhere. You can have Google Analytics, you can have Facebook, and you're moving from platform to platform, but having it all in one place gives you the ability to kind of like diagnose and optimize and see what's happening and what's not. So you can get there by going to datastudio.google.com, and there are plenty of YouTube tutorials on how to set this up.
Awesome. Sweet. That is amazing. Yeah, give us a hashtag data in the comments if you're going to go to datastudio.google.com because you're like, man, that is awesome. You can even see the funnel graphic. You can see everything all in one place. So it's kind of like Google Tag Manager, right? You can set up all your pixels in one place, and then you can set up and have this great visual representation of all your data, which makes it pretty easy to diagnose what's working and what's not, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. This is definitely a place that kind of allows you to organize things perfectly.
Yeah.
And they have different templates, so it doesn't necessarily have to look like this. You could choose a template that you like to help you get kind of like the best visual representation of the data yourself.
Awesome. Super, super cool. Yeah, so that's all we had for you guys today. Make sure to register over at traffictuesdays.com because next week we're going to be covering another principle, another piece that you need to know. And if you guys haven't been catching up, if you guys haven't seen any of the past episodes or need to catch up on any of them, you can also head over to our YouTube channel and you can catch our past episodes and streams. And yeah, with that being said, we look forward to seeing you guys next Tuesday. Thanks for watching.
See you later.